Hey everyone, for today's video, I found this funny title called First 100 Days of Uneffing Your Life. So let's check it out.
My life hit rock bottom about a year ago. For health reasons outside of my control, I couldn't function like a normal human being. I couldn't go outside, I could barely eat, and every day consisted of me rotting away in my bed. In this 8-month span, I lost 20 pounds, lost a lot of friends, and as someone known as chill my entire life, I've had to learn how to deal with anxiety attacks. I remember my only goal during this time was to feel normal again. I'm happy to say that after a year and 93 days, I am now kinda recovered. The health issues are still lingering, but for everything that was in my control, I've done the best I could to get back to normal. The process might have taken longer, but this is how I my life in 100 days. Step 1. Clean up your act. When your life begins to slip up, I believe that so does your environment. Clothes dirty, messy workspace. It's as if the physical matches what I was feeling internally. I felt terrible, so I wouldn't take care of myself or my environment. The environment didn't allow me to change, so I felt terrible. It was like an endless loop that dug me further and further down a hole. When I looked in the mirror, I saw someone who couldn't even take care of their hygiene or their messy room. What life changes was I gonna make? Not a lot at first, so I took it slow. I cleaned my room, then I cleaned my desk. I did my laundry, I took care of my hygiene.
Hey, that's actually a really huge thing. Like when you're working at an office and your desk is just full of paper everywhere, then you kind of feel like, especially like even your room, if you don't clean your room and there's just clothes everywhere, like that actually gives you a sense of overwhelming anxiety to some people. So just cleaning up probably makes you feel a lot better.
I got some new clothes, and guess what? After
right
months of a rock bottom, I felt like I could change. Step 2. Lessen the screen usage. On average, my screen time was 11 to 13 hours. Consisted of watching movies I've already watched, scrolling through the endless social media, and visiting the same 4 to 5 websites over and over.
For people that can rewatch animes, well, I can rewatch One Piece, but that's goated. But any other thing, like rewatching those or YouTube videos, that's diabolical. Like there's so much content out there on YouTube that when I hear people rewatch YouTube videos, I'm like, how?
Again, I didn't know how to improve my life, so I scrolled. When I got guilty, I would go to my desk to try and work, but I'd find some excuse to get back to my phone, then lose another hour. It was the first thing I touched when I woke up. It was the last thing I saw.
Phones are a problem. Just put your phone face down on your desk or throw it across the room. Get it away from you.
Saw when I fell asleep. There would not be minutes in the day where I didn't have my phone on me. The turning point was when I realized I did not have a single original thought in my day. Every waking second was listening to podcasts, scrolling social media, or reading stuff online. So I knew I had to change. The first thing I did was get 2 phones. A crack phone, not that crack, not that one either, and a Kale phone. The crack phone had every distraction app known to man. The Kale phone only had access to messages and apps to help me live my life. The crack phone I used during my break, and the Kale phone was the one I carried with me. But since it had nothing on it, I didn't really use it. Instead of bargaining with myself when my willpower was weak, I removed the option completely. Now my screen time is around 1 to 2 hours every day. Step 3.
Can't we just delete the apps?
Trying out healthy habits. As a result of isolating myself away for so long, I started to get anxiety attacks whenever I did anything social. It felt like I couldn't control my thoughts, and I'd continue to spiral farther and farther until I could go home and be alone for a couple of hours. I had been feeling things I've never experienced before, and it was extremely uncomfortable. So I tried new things. Journaling for 3 days, practicing gratitude for about a week, therapy for 3 months, which I think now is a good time to talk about the sponsor of this video, BetterHelp.
Oh, hell no.
Just kidding. This video is not sponsored. But feel free.
Oh, thank God he's not sponsored. Now I'm going to flame the crap out of... Well, if anyone experienced BetterHelp, bro, they're... You know what? I'm not going to say anything.
To download the iOS app First 100 to track your habits for 100 days. Consistently going to the gym for 6 months. Meditation for 9 months. Never in a million years did I think that I'd be the type of person to use therapy. But it's been an integral part.
Therapy is a joke. It might help some people, but as someone who's experienced therapy, no.
Part of my growth overall as a person. I've experimented with a lot of things.
Let me know if you guys want a video on that, because bro, I just despise psychology and philosophy. or the infrastructure right now. It's
I've cut out the things that haven't worked and worked ruthlessly on the things that have had a big impact on my own life. Step 4, figure out what you want. I was starting to get my life back together, but I didn't have a direction that I was going in. If you asked me what were my goals, my answer was still the same. I just wanted to feel like a normal person again. So I spent my days learning about what I wanted out of life. Any book, article, or video on self-improvement, I scoured to find these 3 lessons. The first one being that there were only a few areas of my life that I really cared about: relationships, fun, career, finances, and health. The second
yeah, you gotta filter all that information, because if you're just looking at a million data points, it's like, what do you want to section off? What do you want to filter or categorize? Because your brain is not unlimited. It's not gonna think of every single thing like an AI bot. So you gotta filter out what you actually care about, the priorities involved.
second lesson I took was how to set goals. I set 2 goals for each area of my life, one being a ceiling goal and the other being a floor goal. The ceiling goal being the most ambitious goal that I would be excited to hit. The floor goal being the bare minimum that I was looking to achieve. This gave me a buffer between the two and helped me manage my expectations while working towards my goals as a person. Then came the last
Yeah, I kind of do the same thing with budgets versus actuals.
lesson. I used to set
It's pretty
really
fun
big
to do.
goals until I was constantly disappointed. So I started to focus on the input and not the output. Want to deepen relationships? Commit to 3 days of dedicated time in the week. You want to have fun? Spend time on hobbies every day. Want to lift 1,000 pounds? Go to the gym 5 times a week. I never knew when the results would arrive, so I focused my best on the inputs instead. Step 5, building your schedule. You know what makes a good life? Good years. A good year is made from good months. A good month is made from good weeks. A good week is made from good days. You get my point. I now had everything in place to start to put everything into practice. I think it was best summed up here. Your life is made up of a series of ordinary Tuesdays. Figure out what your ideal normal Tuesday looks like. Because if
Tuesday?
you can have an amazing Tuesday, you'll probably have an amazing life. Of course, life has its glorious ups and downs, but that's maybe 10% of your life. I want to optimize for my own regular Tuesday. So this is currently
Why does it keep saying Tuesday?
the
Doesn't
day
even have
I
an
try to
accent.
live every single day. Career, relationships, fun, health, finances. Outside of special events and vacations, my calendar shows what I prioritize in my life. Step 6, doing what you're saying you're going to do. Despite being the biggest part of the entire 100 days, I knew what I had to do, when I had to do it, and why I was doing it. You see, everything before this was just preparing and getting in the right headspace to finally tackle the goals that I said that I would. Whenever I said I would do something and I didn't do it, it stopped any momentum of progress that I had and made me lose trust in myself. I'd then be consistent with my schedule for a couple of weeks, then mess it up. The cycle happens over and over again. I became confident in my abilities by doing the same things over and over again. I was building evidence in the type of person that I wanted to become, and that evidence came through setting goals, achieving them, setting goals, achieving them. Something similar that I learned through therapy was, despite having all of these grand ambitions, I could still be a friend to myself. I wouldn't treat anyone else as harshly as the way I treated myself. I thought it made me better, but it didn't. When I criticized myself, I quit things quicker, felt the lows worse, and it just was a net negative to my overall life. When I treated myself better, I gave myself more opportunities. I spent longer on
Yeah, rumination's never a good thing, to be honest. Like, having a pessimistic mindset where you're like, you suck, life sucks, everything sucks, I'm better than everyone. Like, who does that actually benefit? Seriously.
projects,
Let's
and I
just think
felt
for a
better
second.
during the entire process. Do what you say you're going to do, but be nice to yourself in the process. Step 7, consistency over everything. At this point, I could finally look at myself in the mirror. My health still wasn't 100%, but it was through the habits that I was getting better. I could guarantee failure by quitting, but by being consistent, it was my only chance I had at success. Now, I've known this advice quite early, but I wish I could have followed it better. I always thought intensity could outwork consistency, but I've been wrong every single time. And in the end, it was actually taking walks that helped me out of this rock bottom. When I was nauseous and couldn't physically do anything else in the day, it was a promise to myself that I would walk for a minute outside. That minute turned to 5, then to 10, then to 20. And in the end, it was the one habit that helped me pick myself up piece by piece to every other step of these 100 days. If you want to do the same, check out the Habit Tracker First 100 on iOS. Step 8.
You know what's funny is Jet Franzen also has a habit tracker or goal setting thing. Might be very
Reflecting
similar
on
to
the
this.
progress. Despite easily being the worst couple months of my life and me never wishing for that type of sickness even on my worst enemy, I would be lying if I said that I didn't grow from it and that it is now an integral part of my life. I actually stumbled across a book called The Myth of Sisyphus while rotting away in bed. And there's a line that I've kept close to my heart and has helped me throughout everything. The struggle itself towards the heights is enough to fill a man's heart. I hope that you've taken something away from this video.
Yeah, that was actually a great video. This is one of the closest I've seen somebody like actually nail it on the head. Like, I don't know whether it comes from the struggle first before you start like finding therapy and looking to live your life with intention. I think it comes down to that, living your life with intention. Like everything he said had a reason for it. And so it's not rocket science what we're preaching. It's straight up just do something that you enjoy once you are in the right headspace to do so, and then choose the life that you want. It's pretty much that simple. So I'll put the original video in the description below. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace. If you want a place to reflect, ask questions, share ideas, or talk with people who are trying to live their life intentionally, you can join my Discord server in the description below.